In December 2018, a group of friends rushed 20-year-old Sandu Dia to the emergency room. He was out cold, super pale, and his skin felt icy to the touch, leaving the doctors totally baffled. Despite being young, fit, and healthy, he was in a coma with a body temperature of just 27 degrees Celsius. Doctors found out he had hypernatremia, which means way too much sodium in his body. Normally, people have about 2 grams of sodium inside them from eating around 5 grams of salt a day. But Sandu had a whopping 160 grams of sodium, way more than what's normal for even a couple of months. When the medical team asked his friends from university what happened to Sandu, they acted all clueless, avoiding eye contact and pretending they didn't know anything. It was clear something fishy was going on. Despite the medical team's unyielding efforts to rescue him, Sandu Dia, a 20-year-old, tragically succumbed to multi-organ failure, a condition where his body's vital systems ceased to function. A startling discovery emerged during the autopsy. The pathologist examined Sandu's stomach contents to uncover the cause of death of a seemingly healthy university student. To the pathologist's shock and dismay, Sandu's stomach revealed no intake of food or water over the past 48 hours. Instead, it contained unexpected items like aquarium goldfish, mouse heads, and whole eel heads, suggesting Sandu had endured distressing experiences before his demise. Sandu Dia's case sparked widespread attention from online communities and the media, quickly becoming an international talking point. Conversations ensued about universities potentially concealing students' shocking actions and the perceived leniency shown to privileged individuals, with a particular spotlight on a student fraternity referred to as reuse. Established over 70 years ago, the fraternity boasted a symbol depicting a Flemish lion. This revered brotherhood comprised exclusively of male students specializing in law, engineering, and business. With approximately 30 active members, predominantly from influential backgrounds, Reus held its place as one of the most sought-after societies at the esteemed Catholic University of Leuven in Belgium. Nearly every student harbored aspirations of joining this exclusive circle. Each year, they admitted a mere 2 or 3 new members, fueling a plethora of rumors that only intensified its mystique and allure. Reus epitomized a form of student elite, wielding significant influence and prestige within the academic institution. Meanwhile, the fraternity continued its customary activities, devising a distinctive lineup for their annual initiation ritual aimed at new recruits. This initiation menu featured appetizers such as grasshoppers and cockroaches, followed by a main course comprising live mice and fish. The dessert consisted of coffee infused with a clandestine substance. An unsettling image capturing the fraternity's initiation ceremony circulated, further solidifying its reputation. In the photograph, the key figures of the group donned heavy outerwear such as coats and cloaks, while 4 novices knelt before them, undergoing their initiation trials. Shockingly, one initiate found himself staring down the barrel of a pistol, while another faced the ominous muzzle of a rifle. This image sparked a flurry of inquiries. Questions emerged regarding the nature of other ceremonies conducted by this clandestine organization and the precise events unfolding behind the closed doors of the fraternity. Given the influential backgrounds of many members' parents, ranging from politicians and lawyers to esteemed doctors and business magnates, one couldn't help but ponder the lengths they would go to protect their offspring in the face of truly grave incidents. Interestingly, Sanda Dia harbored no ambitions of joining the Reus Brotherhood. Born in Belgium, he was acutely aware of his privileged circumstances. Sanda's father, originally from Senegal, had sought asylum in another nation a few years prior to Sanda's birth. Like many immigrant fathers, he made significant sacrifices to ensure his 2 sons could carve out respectable lives for themselves. Understanding the challenges his children would face due to their skin color, Mr. Dia devoted long hours at a factory, spent sleepless nights mastering the local language, and sacrificed his own rest to aid his sons with their studies. His sole aspiration was for his sons to attain success in life. From an early age, Sanda grasped the significance of hard work and determination in achieving his goals, fully aware that success wouldn't come easily. Since their days in kindergarten, Sanda shared an unbreakable bond with his close friend Ferry. Living a mere 5-minute walk from each other, they were practically joined at the hip. Their shared interests in biking, manga, and aspirations of university education, securing lucrative careers, saving up, and eventually venturing to Japan cemented their friendship. They even sealed their commitment with a pinky promise to remain lifelong best buddies and explore the land of the rising sun together. However, Sanda's journey to the birthplace of manga and anime remained an unfulfilled dream. Despite Ferry's presence, Sanda cultivated numerous friendships beyond their tight-knit duo. Throughout his teenage years, Sanda effortlessly excelled in every endeavor he undertook. Whether it was tackling intricate mathematical puzzles or stepping onto the football field for the first time, his peers marveled at his innate talent. Despite the envy that often accompanies such exceptional abilities, Sanda endeared himself to others with his charm, accessibility, conversational prowess, and his innate ability to forge connections with people from all walks of life. Sanda's natural charm and sociability effortlessly endeared him to others, facilitating the effortless formation of friendships. Upon completing high school, he embarked on a significant milestone by enrolling at the University of Leuven, marking the first member of his family to pursue education at such a prestigious institution. This accomplishment filled his father with an overwhelming sense of pride, surpassing any aspirations he had harbored. Despite the university's proximity to his home, Sanda made the deliberate choice to reside in a dormitory. Opting for civil engineering as his major, he embarked on his academic journey with unwavering determination to attain a master's degree in the field. Sanda, exhibiting a wisdom beyond his years, was primarily motivated by a desire to bring honor to his father. His aspirations extended to graduating, securing a lucrative job, and affording his father the opportunity to retire, thus repaying the sacrifices made for his children's future. By 2018, Sanda found himself in the midst of his third year in the rigorous 5-year program. With his sights set on post-graduation employment, he steered clear of the party circuit, prioritizing the pursuit of a stable job to support his family and meet financial obligations. Mindful of the potential hurdles his skin color might pose in securing desirable positions within the predominantly European, tightly knit industry, Sanda harbored no illusions about the challenges ahead. Armed with exceptional academic credentials, strong interpersonal skills, and an unwavering work ethic, he understood the significance of cultivating essential connections. It was this recognition that prompted him to contemplate joining the Royce Brotherhood, a group renowned for its prestige, social networking opportunities, exclusivity, and invaluable connections crucial for his career advancement. In a society where not only merit, but also influential connections hold immense value, Sanda's decision to pursue membership in the Royce Brotherhood appeared strategic. Many of the Brotherhood's members hailed from well-established families, making Sanda's choice to apply a surprising one for his friends, with the exception of his older brother, who recognized the potential career advantages such societies could offer. Sanda's childhood friend, Ferry, who had faith in Sanda's natural sociability and amiable nature, initially harbored doubts about these fraternities and even attempted to dissuade Sanda from what he perceived as a risky move. Little did Ferry know the tragic fate that awaited Sanda. He would have spared no effort to dissuade him had he known. For Sanda, the decision to join Royce was not made on a whim. He carefully weighed the pros and cons before ultimately committing, with just 2 years remaining in his program. In 2018, Sanda emerged as one of the 10 students who successfully navigated the rigorous selection process of Royce. From these 10, only 3, including Sanda, progressed to the final initiation phase. The initial stage involved the fraternity's permanent members vetting candidates based on their compatibility with the group's interests, character, and communication styles. Now narrowed down to 3, the true trial began. A grueling 2-month evaluation by the elite student group culminated in an extensive initiation ceremony spanning 2 to 3 days. During this period, the new recruits endured relentless psychological and physical torment at the hands of the fraternity's members. While Sanda was aware of the arduous trials that lay ahead, he was prepared to endure all discomforts and repulsive challenges for the promise of a better future, much like the other 2 candidates. However, no one could anticipate the grave risks involved in such situations. Sanda had discussed the initiation with a campus friend who belonged to a different fraternity, but this friend was unaware of the specifics of Royce's practices. He portrayed the initiation as merely a test of physical endurance, commitment, and discipline, believing it to be a necessary and ultimately rewarding experience. Despite this portrayal, Sanda found the mandatory gatherings unbearable, particularly due to excessive alcohol consumption and other degrading rituals, such as being required to drink the urine of fraternity members. Alongside other novices, he endured relentless verbal and psychological abuse, but Dia faced additional hardships, subjected to ridicule for his skin tone. In October 2018, a few months before the final ritual, the Brotherhood organized a significant event at the Student Union building. The aspirants were forced to kneel while established members of Royce alternated in administering potent spirits or several liters of beer continuously. After consuming such large amounts of alcohol, the novices were barely able to stand, yet they were still tasked with cleaning the venue, stumbling around in a disoriented state, mopping up their own and others' vomit. That evening, all 3 novices were expected to clean, but the brothers devised a different plan. They decreed that Sanda alone should tidy up after the celebration, as historically, individuals with dark skin were assigned such duties. Though a harsh decree, Dia felt powerless in that moment, resolute in his pursuit of his objective, knowing this ordeal would eventually come to an end. A representative of the student association attempted to rebuke the young men for their remarks. But what power did he possess against 20 affluent, aristocratic, influential, and indulged youths? They operated with impunity, openly engaging in such acts without a shred of shame, considering themselves superior to all. They simply cautioned the staff member against meddling in their affairs. Sanda, at just 20 years old, earnestly sought acceptance, driven by his future prospects, yet he remained somewhat naive. Despite the harrowing events, Dia continued to attend fraternity gatherings, prompting some to question why he persisted in seeking camaraderie with these individuals. His motivations were manifold. Firstly, he shared a friendly rapport with some of them through soccer. Secondly, Sanda keenly recognized the immense sacrifices his father had made for his education and was determined to meet those expectations. He hoped that once he cleared the final hurdle, the indignities would cease. In its 70-plus years of existence, the fraternity had only welcomed 2 members of African heritage, with only 1 surviving presently. A student with dark skin had been initiated in 2015, and Sanda was poised to be the second to undergo the ultimate initiation rite, the final baptism. The initiation began on December 4th, 2018, at 4 p.m. Sanda and his fellow candidates donned flowing white robes and set out into the city with bouquets of flowers, tasked with selling as many as possible. The one who sold the fewest would face penalties such as consuming sour milk, birdseed, and, inevitably, excessive alcohol. Sanda ended up selling the fewest, leading to his punishment, consuming such a large amount of alcohol that his speech became severely impaired. In the second phase of the initiation, the novices were positioned on their knees and asked straightforward questions. By 7 p.m., the fraternity members remained indifferent to Dia's struggles to articulate responses, subjecting him to further punishment when he inevitably underperformed. At the conclusion of this stage, he was forced to consume 1.5 bottles of gin. His body, unaccustomed to heavy drinking, reacted violently. His stomach, filled only with alcohol, left him pale and incapacitated, teetering on the brink of dehydration and losing consciousness repeatedly. Surprisingly, all these events unfolded in plain view of the public. According to a fraternity member's testimony, the second trial took place right on the sidewalk in front of a cafe in the city square. Yet, bystanders remained passive, neither contacting authorities nor calling for police intervention. At 9 p.m., the third challenge, dubbed Endure the Night, began. The novices were taken back to the dormitory, where 18 fraternity brothers resumed their relentless hazing. Their task was to consume as many beer pints as possible. By the end of the trial, all 3 participants were left unconscious, breathing but unresponsive to any attempts to awaken them. Despite their unconscious state, the abuses continued. According to fraternity tradition, if someone fainted during a gathering, they were subjected to being urinated on, a display of dominance viewed as a sign of weakness. Evidence of these acts was captured in a video recorded at 11:40 p.m., which the perpetrators later attempted to delete. With the day's competitions concluded, the 3 new initiates were dragged back to their quarters and unceremoniously dumped onto their beds, with the water supply intentionally cut off. For further entertainment, their belongings were defaced with ketchup and chocolate, and their door was locked. This meant that if any of the boys regained consciousness after consuming such a lethal amount of alcohol, they wouldn't even have access to water to quench their thirst. This was only the beginning of the initiation at one of the country's most prestigious universities, with the most distressing experiences yet to come. The following day, on December 5th, 2018, at approximately 10:30 a.m., the fraternity members prepared to move forward with the final stages of the grueling initiation. Waking the 3 initiates from their stupor, they placed them in vehicles and drove them out of the city to a secluded village about an hour away. In this remote location, a fraternity member owned a small cottage surrounded by dense woods, perfect for hiding their activities. During their journey, the group made several stops to procure items necessary for the ceremony. They visited a pet store where they purchased aquarium fish, eels, live rodents, as well as bird and dog feed. Subsequently, they stopped by a supermarket where they acquired fish sauce, a condiment commonly used in Asian cuisine for its flavor-enhancing properties. Fish sauce is notably high in sodium, containing about 1,670 milligrams per tablespoon, nearly 70% of the recommended daily intake, and is not typically consumed in large quantities. Additionally, they purchased duck eggs, sardines, clams, shrimp paste, mussels, and various other products. During one of these stops, they encountered an academic who noticed that one of the students appeared to be in need of assistance. The concerned academic voiced her worries to the fraternity members and even suggested contacting the police. However, the students persuasively reassured the professor, claiming that Sanda was simply intoxicated and in shock. They assured her that the initiation had concluded and they planned to sober him up with a cold bath. Dismissing the professor's concerns, the group continued on to the cabin in the forest. The details of the subsequent events were pieced together by the police through recovered deleted video footage and limited evidence. However, the full truth of what occurred in that forest remains elusive. Over the span of several hours, the 3 initiates found themselves compelled to dig a considerable trench, which they were subsequently forced into. As they battled against the biting cold, a circle of 18 senior fraternity members surrounded the pit, filling it with frigid water and live eels. Belgium's December temperatures typically hover between +3 to +7 degrees Celsius. As the initiates began to shiver from the chill, the older fraternity members resorted to a disturbing method to generate warmth, urinating on them from above. Sanda, still grappling with dehydration and the lingering effects of the previous night's alcohol consumption, lacked the physical capacity to stand or depart, regardless of any inclination to do so. Under normal circumstances, Rejecting the initiation process merely required ringing a bell placed away from the trench, signaling a forfeiture of one's place in the fraternity. However, in this instance, the bell was either intentionally or inadvertently overlooked, leaving Sanda without a means to communicate his refusal of the initiation. His compromised physical state, coupled with his inability to stand or speak, left him utterly vulnerable. The three exhausted, intoxicated individuals remained seated in the icy water, subjected to the senior fraternity members' acts of urination and defecation. They were then coerced into biting off the heads of live mice and eels in the water, followed by the consumption of fish oil, further exacerbating their distress. After enduring over 6 hours in such harsh conditions, Sanda's body began to succumb, and he started slipping into unconsciousness. Eventually, he was pulled out of the water, dressed in dry clothes, and positioned beside a fire. Despite his distress, he curled up on the grass, remaining in a fetal position for 2 hours, while the initiation rites continued unabated around him. Rather than seeking medical assistance, the students opted to document the situation with photos and videos, as Sanda emitted sounds of agony, signaling his intense pain. The excessive sodium intake triggered a severe spike in Sanda's blood pressure, leading to a nosebleed, and he became completely unresponsive. Eventually, at 8:57 p.m., a senior fraternity member decided to contact emergency services. Following their instructions, the students transported the unconscious Sanda to a hospital. To avoid soiling the interior of the car, they placed his body in the trunk. Upon arrival at the emergency department, the fraternity members chose to withhold crucial information from the medical team regarding Sanda's recent diet and alcohol consumption. After leaving him in the care of the hospital staff, they departed with the intention of resuming the initiation upon his discharge, effectively denying Sanda any real chance of recovery. While medical professionals conducted tests and attempted to determine the cause of his condition, Sanda's organs began to fail. Given the severity of his condition, he was transferred to Antwerp University Hospital for its advanced facilities. At Antwerp University Hospital, Sanda's heart stopped beating, causing him to lapse into a coma, and tragically, the 20-year-old lost his life. The primary cause of death was attributed to toxic levels of sodium in his body, a consequence of the excessive consumption of fish sauce. The hospital promptly notified the authorities, prompting an immediate investigation into the circumstances surrounding his death. By 10:40 p.m., the other two initiates who had persisted with the initiation ritual were also admitted to the hospital. Upon learning of their children's grave condition, parents rushed to the hospital. Meanwhile, fraternity members hurriedly worked to eliminate any evidence of the initiation. They filled in the trench used for the trials, tidied up the room that had been stained with ketchup and chocolate, restored the water supply, and wiped their phones of any incriminating messages, photos, and videos. By the time the police arrived at the scene, there was no physical evidence remaining. However, investigators later managed to recover deleted data from the mobile devices. Despite the retrieval of this evidence, the investigation faced significant hurdles. The involved individuals hailed from influential families whose parents swiftly secured legal representation. Despite mounting evidence linking 18 fraternity members to Sandu Dia's death, the investigation was prolonged and consistently obstructed by the influential parents. All 18 students cleansed their social media profiles and limited their communication, opting to speak only through their attorneys. Following Sanda's tragic death, the Reyes fraternity was dissolved. The university imposed disciplinary actions on all those involved, mandating 30 hours of community service and an essay on the role of traditions in student organizations. Remarkably, none of the participants faced expulsion from the university. The 18 individuals implicated in the incident completed their education without significant repercussions. In response to this lenient outcome, faculty members aware of the situation penned an open letter advocating for harsher penalties for the group. but no additional measures were taken against the students. The formal legal process concluded in July 2020. Subsequently, attorneys representing two Reyes members pursued further investigations, seemingly aiming to portray the entire incident as a tragic accident and shift blame to the deceased student, citing purported weak health. It wasn't until May 26, 2023, that the Antwerp Court of Appeal delivered its verdict, finding the 18 fraternity members guilty of involuntary manslaughter and degrading treatment. Each was fined €400 and sentenced to perform community service. Additionally, they were collectively ordered to pay approximately €30,000 in compensation to the Dia family. To safeguard their future prospects, the identities of the students were withheld. The leniency of the verdict for those accountable for Sandu Dia's death ignited widespread dissent, prompting protests in various cities. Despite these demonstrations, no significant changes have been reported as a result. The perceived absence of justice in this case remains a poignant aspect of the narrative. If you enjoyed this story, be sure to subscribe to the channel so you never miss new videos. Don't forget to like and share your thoughts in the comments. We'll see you in the next video.